All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my thoughts on which NFL owners need to sell their respective franchises right here, right now, today in the National Football League. So these are the following NFL owners that I do believe need to sell their respective teams immediately. Let's just get this one out of the way. Number one is Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys. Dear Jerry Jones, the party's over, Grandpa. You had your fun, you had your fame, you're 82 years of age, you're a 3-time Super Bowl champion, a Hall of Famer in the National Football League. There's nothing else for you to do because you damn sure don't care about winning at this particular point of your career. Jerry Jones only cares about being in the media and causing problems and creating storylines for the rest of the NFL to talk about when it comes to this Dallas Cowboys team. He has no aspirations for winning. When you see these elite teams and these contending teams all week long make trades to make themselves better, what do, Jerry Jones? You come out the mouth and say you're content with this roster that we have, that this defense can't stop the cold, the offense can't move the ball down the field, we can't run the damn ball. What do you mean to tell me we're not interested in making moves to make this team better and get ourselves out of the mud of what how we started off at 3-3 this year? The Cowboys, he's just out of the loop of what it is to make this team a contending team. Don't get me wrong, year in and year out, I think we draft the best in the National Football League, but you have to do more than just draft talent. You got to get talented free agents. You got to make home run hits and trades to make your team better and to contend with the heavyweight contenders in the NFC. You haven't made an NFC championship since 1996. You haven't made a Super Bowl since the late 90s. I have yet to see a Super Bowl in my lifetime. And I'm watching all these other teams get to a conference championship or play in the Super Bowl, win Super Bowls. And the Dallas Cowboys, every time they get going, they just go in reverse and go back to their old ways of losing in the second round of the NFC playoffs. I'm tired of it, and I think it's time for a change. Jerry Jones, go ahead and sell the Dallas Cowboys. Now, next owner on my list, Jimmy Haslam, owner of the Cleveland Browns. Now, I think Jimmy Haslam has actually been, Jimmy Haslam has been probably the most unsuccessful owner in the league since he's bought the Cleveland Browns in 2012. What he's done as an owner has been very pitiful, and my heart goes out to those Cleveland Brown fans because Jimmy Haslam in 2016 was responsible for the Cleveland Browns going 1-15. And then in 2017, they became the second team in NFL history to go 0-16. That is bad. And Jimmy Haslam has had a lot of bad decisions as the owner for this Cleveland Browns team. He gave up too fast on Baker Mayfield. You see what he's doing out there in Tampa Bay right now. He traded away a total of 5 first-round picks to get Deshaun Watson, pay him $230 million guaranteed, and he crashed the quarterback market. And this is the reason why you got guys like Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence, and Daniel Jones, and etc. getting paid absurd money for the contracts that they're not even worth half the money for. But it all started because Jimmy Haslam did this with Deshaun Watson, giving him that $230 million contract. So, hey, year in and year out, when this team looks like they're moving forward, they just go back to reverse, back to their losing ways. And also, you just traded away Amari Cooper today. Why trade away Amari Cooper when you basically got him for a bag of chips, a 5th and 6th round pick from the Dallas Cowboys, and you never utilized him in Cleveland? Just shows how much Jimmy Haslam has been a bad owner for the Cleveland Browns. Now, next owner on my list, this guy definitely has to sell too. David Tepper, owner of the Carolina Panthers. David Tepper is due to sell the Carolina Panthers. When David Tepper bought the Carolina Panthers in 2018, since he's bought them in 2018, he hasn't been a good leader, made several bad decisions. For example, pouring drinks on your own fan base in the suite last year towards the end of the NFL season. I mean, David Tepper has fired 3 NFL head coaches since he's been there in 2016. So you spend half your 6 years, firing NFL coaches. I mean, he's fired Ron Rivera, he's fired Matt Rule, and he fired Frank Reich. that shows you that there is basically no light at the end of the tunnel for David Tepper. And at quarterback, he's failed too many times and too many experience. I mean, you brought in Baker Mayfield, you brought in Sam Darnold, and you gave up too much draft capital to get Bryce Young, who you have riding the pine now in the second season, when you could have drafted C.J. Stroud, the ultimate layup, in that 2023 NFL draft. Panthers fans deserve better, and I do believe that David Tepper needs to sell the Carolina Panthers ASAP, as soon as possible. Now, the next and final owner that needs to sell the team, it's Woody Johnson, owner of the New York Jets. Now, Woody Johnson really needs to sell the New York Jets. I mean, Woody Johnson has Woody Johnson has held on to the New York Jets since the 2000 when he purchased the team in 2000. The franchise has been a poverty franchise since then. And I think at this point, they're like the Chicago Bears, the Cleveland Browns. They're cursed. There's no hope year in and year out for this New York Jets team as long as Woody Johnson is the owner. I mean, Woody Johnson running this team, you have full control of this football team. And the New York Jets have missed the playoffs 13 years in a row. That's the longest drought in the NFL today out of all 32 teams in the National Football League. So I think the fact that Woody Johnson's experiments failing year in and year out, when you signed Brett Favre, and when Brett Favre was nearly done his NFL career, you had Adam Gase there as head coach for a very long time. Robert Saleh didn't work out as a head coach. You drafted Zach Wilson with the second overall pick in the 2021 NFL draft. Jets fans just deserve better. And their lives can get so much better once Woody Johnson is out of the office, once he sells the New York Jets team. And basically, the Jets will probably be an overall better team if Woody Johnson just sells, because they haven't been a good team since 2010 when Rex Ryan was in town, when Mark Sanchez was in town, when Darrelle Revis was in town. So they need a change immediately in front office, because Woody Johnson is not the answer. And and Bill Belichick just said it. For those that watch Monday Night Football on the Peyton Manning, Eli Manning show, when Bill Belichick made an appearance, what does Woody Johnson do? He just brings in pieces, brings in pawns to basically be the blame for his mess, and gets them fired. That's the story of Woody Johnson. But I do believe all of these NFL owners that I just named need to sell their respective franchises ASAP, as soon as possible.